Anyway, we've got some friends on Facebook here just joined us. Thank you, Xiang Mei Mandy. She's posted,
Mandy.
hi, hello on 2. May I know what's the topic we'll be talking about on Thursday? Well, that's today. And we're talking about money. That's a
right.
good topic, really.
Yes.
I like money.
How we should have integrity with money in terms of us being the lender as well as the borrower of money. And we have none other than Murshidah Said, beautiful in green today. Green with envy or green with money?
I like the color, yes.
Thank you. Hi, good morning.
Next time when she wears this, then we talk about money, we should cue the song. Money, 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 money.
Yeah, how appropriate, yeah?
Yes.
Well, anyway, Murshidah, we were talking off air about the whole money culture and the difference between countries. I mean, in Singapore, it's quite evident and it's documented that they pay their bills on the dot. So if they owe it on the 1st of January, on the 1st of January, they bank in the cash or they pay
Kudos to the KPI, huh?
Yeah, it's really amazing, and there's hardly any debt issues.
Oh, that's
hardly.
great, yeah.
And you can see why they're one of the richest nations in the world.
Good for the company and good for their personal...
Character, Mando.
yeah.
It builds character. But over here, you hear of things like your, Astro kena potong, air kena potong, sorry, sensitive water, electricity, and this is due to us paying our bills late, and that translates into everything else.
So why is it, when you mentioned that you wanted to talk about this integrity with money, what do you mean by that?
Yes, okay, what is integrity? Integrity is being honest. It is sticking to certain principles, moral, ethical issues that are in line with universal principles, not just relating to a certain country or certain religion or certain culture. It goes across the board. Everybody, when we talk about integrity or when we talk about honesty, right? It's universal. Every culture wants everyone, all of us, to do good, right? Yes. So when we have integrity, we are actually abiding by these universal principles. Now, what is having integrity with money, right? Now, when people talk about having integrity with money, always they talk about, oh yeah, you want to earn an honest living, right? So you must have integrity. Don't cheat your company. Don't cheat people. Don't steal from people. These are the normal mindset of a lot of people when it comes to integrity with money. But I also like to address today, and because recently, there's a lot of comments on Facebook and sharing of some unhappiness. For me, it's not only online, but it's also offline, right? Because people do come to me for coaching and counseling, and when we relate back, it has some parts of it has got to do with money. And I'd like to address about the integrity of the exchanging, giving and receiving money, because money is actually an energy, right? When you do something, you work, you want to be paid. It's an exchange of energy. If it's not money, it is something else, maybe in terms of barter trade or something like that. It is still an exchange, right? So having integrity with money in terms of receiving and exchanging, what I notice is a lot of people, they receive a lot of dissatisfaction and unhappiness, stress, and a lot of issues with money is because of the problem of debt, right? And they seem to accumulate a lot of debt. They buy things they cannot afford, and then after that they cannot pay them back, right? And they borrow some more, and then sometimes they borrow from friends, they borrow from relatives, and then they say, I'll pay you back when I have the money. But it doesn't seem, it's most of the case, it's people have this problem of getting the money back. Now let's address this issue. Why is this happening? Now we are all in this society of the microwave society, instant access society. Everything want instant download, so we want everything fast, right? But let's all be aware, because I was also in a state of unawareness before, right? I was in that state. So trust me, I'm coming up from a place where I have realization, and I know it is wrong, and I think each and every one of us have to have this conscience, and be conscious about this. When we borrow money, we must make it a point that we can pay it back. If you don't know, like if it's like atas angin, some Malay say atas angin, okay, I'll pay you back when I have the money. But you don't know when you'll have the money, right? When that happens, right, make sure that when you borrow, it is with a sincere intention to pay back, right? And if you cannot pay back, you make sure you call the other person and say, I'm having challenges in paying back. Can we extend the time? or can we stagger the payments or something like that? And that is the responsibility of the debtor, right? The person who owes the money. Now, it puts also the person who loans the money or the product, right, in a very difficult position, because sometimes they lend the money expecting it to be back because, okay, I'll pay it back at a certain time, but they never seem to receive it. So they'll have to make the effort of calling and asking back, and it actually drains that energy from the creditor to ask back the product or the money that is due to them. And what I also notice, and this is not just myself, I also receive a lot of feedback on this, is that people do work, maybe in terms of for another company, or they use stuff, or they buy products and then they never pay, right? Either they buy it on credit or credit card and they never pay the credit card company.
And they max it out.
And they max it out and they keep buying. And they say, I'll pay it when I have the money, you know, and you max it, and they, in the end, they end up with more interest rate, they end up more in debt. And let's have this realization, right, for all of us. If we cannot afford something, do not accumulate. Right? Do not be a society where we are just focused on materialism. You know, of course, all of us, we want to look good, we want to impress people. But if we do not have the money, the intention is basically just egoistic. It is not something that you cannot afford it, but you just get it for what purpose?
You're just keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly, keeping up with the Joneses. And then if somebody works for you, you know, even in Islam, our Prophet says that the person who works for you, before the sweat on the person dries, you have to pay them. You know, it is that important, and that what keeps an economy going. But when you withhold payment, there is that blockage of energy. Maybe that person might need the money to do something else, and you do not, you hold back the money for whatever reason, right? And it is not right, right? If you cannot afford to pay the person, tell the person, I cannot afford to pay the person, I can only afford to pay this much. But if you say, okay, I'll pay you, and if the person works for you and you do not pay them back, it goes back to your reputation. It is just not nice, right?
Right.
Yeah, some people actually don't really care, and they assume that everyone is going to forget about the debt. In the long run, they disappear, you know, they go out of sight. But they're never out of mind, and for the person that's lent them the money, they're obviously not out of pocket. The buku 35 is definitely going to be there.
Exactly.
The name's in there, it's in there for life. So what do creditors need to do, really, to try and, gauge the situation before they lend the money? Is there any way they can do that?
Yeah, I mean, professional lending institutions, they have that, right?
Correct.
Now,
Yeah,
people who are not professional, like us, right? People like, with your friends and all that, you know. Notice how you feel. If, let's say, you have excess money, you can lend a certain amount, and I always see it as, okay, this is the money, I do not expect it back.
Right.
But if the person gives it, it gives it. And it gives, you know, the energy within you shifts, you know, rather than you are forced to or you feel obligated to. And it's like, oh, I might need this money from my child or something like that, but I'll loan it first, you know. If you feel that feeling of like, you know, you don't really feel good about giving away, I say don't give. Because for me, when you transfer something, you know, it is energy. If you do something in charity, do it sincerely. If you want to help someone, do it sincerely. But if you feel that it is a burden for you, I say don't do it.
When you feel heavy-hearted,
yes, you feel heavy-hearted. And I always say, if, let's say, you can afford it, and you feel good, okay, I don't expect the money back, I'll give it to you, you know, and then you just give it, you bless the person. And if the person return it, by all means, you know, you receive it, okay? But do not expect it. If, let's say, you do need to lend it, because if the person is in desperation and all that, and sometimes you need to lend, if you want to get the money back, you know, you just make calls, have a serious talk, you know, meet up with a person one-on-one. If that person has problems, sometimes they run away. I have a lot of experience where people were trying to chase for payments or asking for whatever is due to them, and that person just runs away or doesn't pick up the phone, you know, and this is actually it actually reflects back on themselves. And this is a separate issue we can talk about, you know, why people actually do that. It is basically running away from taking responsibility.
I can hear Terence sighing.
Well, yeah, because we've all faced this. It's not like we're big time money lenders or anything like that.
Your friend borrows a book or a video, doesn't return it, and you know, I really need this, I need to show this to my friends who are coming to my house, they want to watch this movie, something simple like that. And the person runs away, doesn't want to return it, right? So I believe it is important, even if you want to keep that relationship with that person, go and meet the person, tell that person heart to heart, you know, if you have problems paying back, or if you lost the product or the book or the video, it doesn't matter, but just tell me, you know. This is something that, you know, it is for the sake of our friendship. And if you have problems paying back, you know, it's okay. Whenever you are ready, you pay me back. But if, let's say, we really need the money, we ask for something, you know, I need like $20, 20 ringgit or something, you know, just for this. Can you just give that back first? You be honest with it. Now this one, I got it.
Islamic element in
right.
that.
I found this. Actually, my sister's Facebook wall was featuring this, and this actually came from Ustaz Don's wall.
I think this is this is put up outside of a mosque or something.
Yes, it is, and it says hutang wajib dibayar. You know, you as to be as a responsible person, you know, a person with love and respect. When you borrow something, you return it. It is taking responsibility. And when you don't take responsibility, this is an indication. You know, if people are calling you and you are not, you do not take responsibility and return the call, or tell the person what is the truth, you are running away from responsibility, and it reflects in all areas of your life. You can see it creates an imbalance. You may think like, what has my money has got to do with my family or my relationships and all that? It has. If you do that to other people, you will also realize that you do that to your company. You also do that to your clients. You also do that to your family. You run away from responsibility whenever there is a challenge, you know, or something that is due, you do not want to face it. You just run away from it, right?
One thing that really irks me, especially friends lah, if they know that they cannot pay one lump sum, and you still friends, and you know where each other live, right?
Exactly.
You can never run away, right?
Plus there's Facebook today. I mean,
we
know if you bought a new dress, or if you bought a new shirt, you flaunt it.
Have puppies to take care of.
So you go like, oh, that's where my money went.
Exactly.
You know,
but
and
you know, I mean, since you're friends, right? Why not pay in installment?
Exactly.
Just pay little by little. At least you've made it. You're showing, you're showing that you make an effort, right?
And that's one way to keep the relationship also, you know, by being honest. And we understand that, you know, sometimes you get angry. Oh, how can you lose my stuff when I lend it to you, you know, in full trust? Sometimes you do get angry. But when a person is honest and is truly sorry, you know, as normal human beings, you tend to forgive. You get angry for a while, but after that, say, okay lah, you know, I'll let it pass. Or no, man, when you have the money, you buy me a new one, or something like that, you know. And the worst is if you represent an organization. You know, sometimes, this is very sad to say, because sometimes, let's say a supplier has worked for you, and it's really unprofessional when the supplier has to call and say, look, it's over 30 days, or what is the agreed time of payment? When am I going to get my money? And they have to go to the office and all that. And you know, people will try to push the number around and say, oh, the account is not here. They push responsibility, and they do not address it. So this is something that applies to even organizations. And watch it, because how you are is how you are in every other aspects of your life. I always say this to my students: how you do anything is how you do everything. If you can borrow books from your friends and not return it, watch yourself in your company as well. Do you avoid taking calls when you are put in a position of discomfort? You know, like people asking for payment from the company. It's not even your money, but you shift responsibility. You do not want to take responsibility. It applies in all areas, and this is what makes you know, a lot of energy blockages. And if we want to succeed, if we want to move up to the next level, if we want to be a society with full of integrity, full of good moral values, and to succeed in all areas of your life, simple things like this lah. You know, you just watch ourselves and we correct ourselves. You know, when you correct yourself, everything else around you is corrected. And personal experience, man.
And I also realized that
you're speaking from personal experience.
Yes.
And you also wanted to highlight the fact that the more money that you borrow and you don't pay back, your life will be less likely to be more positive, right?
I deal with a lot of people who have a lot of stress and broken relationships. I help them heal, forgive, and all that. And a lot of that energy blockage or stress comes from debts, right? So we have to trace back, forgive, why this happened, and it is all not only from childhood. It's a lot of conditioning. You know, it's a lot of belief system. So that has to be reprogrammed. So for all of us, let's take responsibility of our lives. Let's have full integrity, and let's do something to improve ourselves in the now, so that our future will change.
Thank you so much, Murshidah, for being here and talking to us
Always
about
the
green money that may not seem so green when you don't get it back. Thank you so much once again for being here on the show. Money and integrity is what we're talking about.